Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 3 on Dante Must Die difficulty. This is Mission 4. It's entitled, did you see that lag right there? I don't know what that's about. This is called the Uninvited one. And I don't know what that lag is about. I was not getting that on the digital version, but I was getting it on this, the physical copy of the game. I'm not sure what it is, but it's quite annoying because it happens frequently. But in this first encounter, you want to skip this fight, go here, and charge up the devil trigger by holding the L1, and get over the 3 of these enigmas here, then drop down, release the charge, and you will kill all of those ones right there. And then what you want to do is, with the Kalina Ann equipped, you want to go over to this section and take out this guy here. Once this guy is deceased, you'll see that some lusts will drop in, and also there will be more enigma spawning. There's a couple over there, but I believe they were already present. This is a hard fight because simply of the enigmas. So what I like to do here is stay up in this venue here on this top area, because the lusts will not come up here. The lusts being the red guys. And what I'm doing here is I'm taunting, building up the devil trigger, and then I will fill the devil trigger and go over there and kill those guys with the DT transformation flux. So in the previous time I did this guy, what I was doing was I was writing tips on the screen and definitions. So I'm just going to dispense with that this time, and then just verbally tell you what's going on here with the devil transformation. What it is, and I know I'm speaking maybe, I'm kind of patronizing, maybe it might sound like that, but I'm just trying to explain the basics for people, what this actually is. So the devil trigger transformation, if you go into the library, it'll explain what this is under devil trigger, and it'll tell you that when you hold the L1 button, you can charge the runes that are beyond the 3 yellow ones. Do you see those under the vitality gauge? They're orange, and if you hold the L1 button, you will turn the orange ones into red ones. And the more that you light up, the more of effect you'll have. Some people call it a DT explosion, but I don't really see it being explosive. I just see it being a transformation, and that's indeed what it says in the library. It's just the transformation flux of turning into the demon from the human form, and it's probably one of the most helpful. I dare say it probably is the most helpful tool you have to dispense with enemies, especially when they're grouped together in a crowd, and you jump in the middle of that with a full DT gauge and release it. They will most likely all die if they're not devil triggered, and even if they are devil triggered, they might perish. So what I'm doing now is standing under this area here because I have those enigmas left. So do you see how I can stun this guy even though he's devil triggered? So when I have him stunned, what I do is I do the real impact, which is R1 plus back plus circle, and it's a long build up for the charge, but as you can see, it's very devastating. And you could actually, did I do this? I think I did it in video 2. I talked over it, maybe video 3. What you can do as you're doing the spinning kick, I'm sorry, I didn't just specify what happens actually. You keep tapping the O button after you do the real impact. The moves that I just said, R1 plus back plus circle, do the charge, and then as he's doing the uppercut, continually press the O button. And you could actually, at any point in that combo, you can activate the devil trigger and do increased damage here. So there's also going to be one more enigma spawning at the point at which I dropped onto the 3 enigmas at the beginning of the stage. That's called the Dance Macabre right there. That's with the Swordmaster equipped. R1 plus back, and then rapidly press the circle button to do that move. So with all those enemies cleared, we're going to go in here and smash these petrified chess pieces. You have to smash the ones that are on the platform in order for it to race, because they're weighing it down. And then we'll be doing some excuse me, I wanted to introduce some of these enemies that are going to be coming up in this stage. We'll have a boss fight with the Gigapede at the end, but we'll be facing, in this next room, we'll be facing a new enemy that we haven't faced so far, namely the Glutton. A very easy enemy. Some of these enemies are pretty damn slow and easy. I also have turbo mode off. Excuse me. You want it off because even though you get a speed increase, if you have it on, you're going to have to adjust to the enemies going really fast. So, I mean, it's not drastically fast, but it's just fast enough to where it makes it harder for you. So, I would definitely turn it off. So these are the gluttons here. They do an attack where they like spit dust right at you, and it's a very powerful attack. Other than that, they're pretty easy to deal with. And then as we kill these guys, we'll have some more of the sloths entering the picture. Remember to get these 2 orbs up here. Not very much, not worth very much, but so this room. Sorry, I was looking at something here. I wanted to also introduce some new enemies too, but we'll talk about those guys when we get there. I generally like the Swordmaster on. However, I will show you the Royal Guard techniques at a different video, maybe the next video, because it's equally important. The most damage you can get off an enemy is with the Devil Trigger Explosion plus a Just Release at the same time. It deals so much damage. You could damage like almost half a boss's life sometimes. I've seen people do it, and it's one of those things where, you know, it's definitely something for, you know, it's something you should do, but you should focus on surviving first. I mean, bottom line is just get out of the way, survive first, and then we'll learn these advanced combos as we progress through the game and get a little more, you know, practice under our belt. But I think this. Oh, here's the last guy. So what the Devil Trigger enemies do is they will all Devil Trigger at a certain point. Usually, well, I shouldn't say usually. I mean, I don't ever remember an instance where enemies were automatically Devil Triggering. You usually enter an arena or, you know, a room, and then there's just enemies, and then they'll Devil Trigger after a certain time elapses or after you've killed X number of enemies. And it happens all throughout the game because obviously this is called Dante Must Die, and that's what happens on this difficulty mode. The combo that I like to do right there is, did I edit that part out? I'm sorry, I may have missed a reel, but watch this. You can go on the other side if you want to, but it doesn't get you anything because you can't go in the door quite yet. I think I missed a still there, or a piece of footage. I'm sorry about that. Here I was saying this is a really great new product in video number 1, and I missed a clip there. I'm sorry about that. And I don't say sorry because I'm not sorry. I say it because I genuinely, you know, wish that hadn't happened. But anyway, these soul eaters here, they kind of have a mind of their own about materializing. So you just want to go over to them in the purple mist, and then they will materialize. If they grab you, you need to mash the buttons very quickly, or you'll take a devastating amount of damage. And in the process, they steal your Devil Trigger. So I would prioritize those guys first. In fact, the best way to deal with a room like this is to get the Soul Eaters out of their mist and do the transformation flux. Now these guys that are red here, these guys are called the Abysses, and they lie prostrate on the ground after you shove them on the ground, and you could actually jump on them. If you're ever wondering how I'm riding on enemies, it's just when they're prostrate on the ground, that is, when they're on the ground on their backs, you just jump onto them. Like I tried to do right. Oh, there we go. I got it. And you could shoot while you're doing it and then do a stinger right after. I do the stinger a lot because it pushes the enemy away, and I'm always wanting to get right next to the enemy. So it's just a way to close in distance. So, like on a level like this, there was no need for me to use any items. It's just one of those things that you know, they give you, like on Ninja Gaiden 2, they always give you, you know, you're allotted this amount of items. It doesn't matter what difficulty it is. You know, well, it's different with Ninja Gaiden black. You know, they mandate it differently there. But like in a game like this, you can potentially have 60 healing items at any given time. In Devil May Cry 4, you could have 90. But here's Gigapede. So what you want to do on this guy is immediately start hitting him. That spark that surrounds him, it doesn't hit you, but you need to jump off or it's going to push you off the body. You don't have to worry about the door because there's no hand that will grab you this time. So you want to stay on the head. Hitting the head doesn't really do too much, but when he sends out the high voltage balls, what you want to do is just keep slashing and hitting them back. It's a hard situation, but I really enjoyed this boss. It's a fair kind of, you know, really fun, a little irritating sometimes when you can't jump on him and you're having to move around too much, but it's got really good scale and I like it. Remember to jump up here because you might fall off here. The best time to do the transformation flux attack is when you've already hit some of the flesh and it's turned from brown to red. That'll deal the most damage. So, also, if you're not aware of where he is when he's going in these tunnels, you can hit the R1 button, hold the R1 button down, which I do frequently. See, I'm trying to see where he's going, and in this instance, he didn't come out that tunnel. He went around this tunnel over here. So, one of the main issues about me getting hit on this fight, and probably you when you're fighting, is getting like multi-hit with the energy balls, those purple balls, because once they start hitting you, it's extremely difficult to get out of a staggered state of being on your person because they keep hitting you. You also have iframes when you get hit and you're trying to get up from the ground, so take advantage of that. It's just kind of one of those kind of luck. It's a little bit luck based because everything's so hectic and you're trying to. It's like trying to hit baseballs back at him, and it's really, the whole process is not helped here by the camera. It's a little, it's really easy to get discombobulated as to where your position is, but I can count on this to, like, whenever I think that I might be, I'm genuinely thinking that I should have landed on him. It usually lands me on him. So, I mean, that's pretty much the case with this game. I honestly don't know how such a game like this was ever made so perfectly. It's one of those rare. I mean, they really wanted to make up for the flop of number 2. I can't, when I play these games, I need to depend on mechanics that work, because if the mechanics don't work, I'm getting killed. So just stand on the head and hit the balls back. You could even hit the balls back when you're not on him, but it's a little less controlled that way because they're going in different locations. And it's a little frustrating to keep doing this, but it's not a hard fight. And I would definitely strive to not use items on. Now, there's some bosses that are just much harder than others. It's just one of those introductory bosses. Much less difficult than Cerberus, for sure. And I have the Kalina Ann here equipped. It's not out of any kind of premeditation. I didn't want to have it equipped. I would rather have the Spiral equipped. But make sure that when you're shooting these balls here, this was kind of fortunate here because the column up there shielded me from all the blasts right there. But just take cover whenever you can, whenever you're shooting those and you're vulnerable down here on the ground. And you should be able to take this guy out with relative ease. I mean, it really isn't that difficult because of the amount of damage you do him when you hit those balls back at him. So after we get after we clear this boss, we'll get the astronomical board, and we'll be able to place it and do some more traversing in the Devil's Tower. So I hope that this video helped you, and I will see you in Mission 5. We'll have 2 bosses to defeat.